Hey guys, welcome back to another Big Meat Sunday. Thanks for coming back. Today, we're not going to be doing a recipe. We're going to do an experiment. And I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I have an older video. I'll put a link to the description box in that. It is the 3-pound porterhouse steak that I cooked out on my Primo. Tell you what guys, there is a debate going over there that's getting a little out of hand and I want to put it to bed. So what we're going to do an experiment with beef and the proper way to season it. Seems that everybody's got their own opinion. We're going to test out some theories. We're going to take 3 identical steaks cut from the same hunk of beef and just run an experiment. We're going to salt them at different times. We're going to weigh them. We're going to get them out on the Napoleon 825 and we're going to cook them up. And all along the way, we're just going to take certain measurements. We're going to see if there's a big deal, if there's any deal, or if it's whoa, whatever kind of deal. So this ought to be pretty interesting. You guys, stick around. All right, so what we're going to use today is a fillet. I got the whole tenderloin out. We're going to do some butchering here, but I'm using the whole piece of meat so we can get a consistent steak across the 3 samples. So what I'm going to do is just take the head off right in front of this piece right here. It's where it's consistently thick. All right. And then also what we're going to do, try to figure out, looks like right about here is where it's about the most consistent. So I'm just going to take a knife, go right in there, and that is going to be our sample piece. It's all pretty much exactly the same all the way through. So what we're going to try to do is make 3 exactly the same size steaks, and if they're a little larger or smaller, I can shave a little off here and there. We've got a scale over here, we can check our work. I'm going to go right about here. So steak number 1. Try to get this guy right in half. Steak number 2 and 3. So those look pretty equal. Let me get the scale out. We're going to do some weighing, a little trimming. All right, so we got our scale out. First thing we want to do is get them all weighed. Let me turn this guy on. It's got to boot up. So what we're going to do, get the steaks weighed. We're going to get them consistent. All right, so the scale is zeroed out. I have a 50-gram weight here that I use. I do ammunition reloading, and that's a very precise thing. So I have these weights around to calibrate scales. Just want to show you. That's exactly, it's showing 50 grams. So we'll go with steak number 1. And what do we got? 208. 206. And 200. Let me get these trimmed up and we will be back. Okay, so we have our 3 steaks at exactly 198 grams. There's 1. 198. And last steak, 198. All right, so we are all equal now. First thing we're going to do, take a plate, take steak experiment number 1. We're going to do the most evil thing to it. We're going to salt it 3 hours in advance before we put it out on the Napoleon 825. I know you guys are probably going insane, right? So we're going to take 1/2 of a teaspoon of salt, like this. You can see that, it's even. I'm just going to put it in my hand for easy dispensary. And I'm just going to salt the crap out of it. All over the top. Flip it over. All over the bottom. Gonna throw some on the plate, get all of it off my hand. Roll it up in there. All right. So we have our steak. It has been seasoned. I'm going to take this, put it in the refrigerator. We're going to pull it out after 2 hours, at which point we're going to salt our second steak. They're going to both sit out on the counter, room temperature, for 1 hour, at which point we're going to get them on the grill. At that point, we will salt our third steak as it's going on. This is going to be mayhem, you guys. Stick around. All right, so it's been 2 hours now, and here we have steak number 1. So what we're going to do, we're going to take steak number 1 and just get a look, get our scale turned on and calibrated. Okay, we're all calibrated out. Take steak number 1, set it on the plate, and we are still at 198. All right, so return that to the plate. And we're going to take steak number 2 now. It's been in the refrigerator. Just make sure that it's still maintaining that weight. All right. So we're going to take this guy, put it back on his plate, and get him salted up with exactly 1/2 tablespoon, or pardon me, teaspoon. See? I'm going to put it in my hand. Copious amounts. Press it in. Hit the other side. Press it. Get all the sides. Okay, so we have steak number 1, steak number 2, and steak number 3 is on this plate here. We're just going to let these guys sit out at room temperature. We're going to let them warm up, come up to room temperature, about an hour. And then last thing, we're going to salt this guy. We'll see you out at the grill. Okay, so an hour later, we have steak number 3 who still hasn't been salted. Steak 2 just an hour ago. Steak 3 now has been salted for 3 hours. We're going to get a weight on this right after we're done salting steak number 3. Grill's already revved up and ready to go, running hot outside. Here we have equal salt into the hand. On to steak number 3. All right. So we're going to get these weighed out one last time. Just make sure everybody's cool. Okay, so get our scale running. Wait for that to boot up. Okay, so we're going to set on fillet 1, still 198. Fillet number 2, 198. Fillet number 3, 198. All right, let's get these guys out there on the Napoleon 825. All right, we're out by the 825 Napoleon Prestige Grill. It's a gasser, nice even heat all the way across the grills. That's why we're going to use this as an experiment. We've got our steaks over here. We're going to start with steak number 3, right in the center of the grill. Number 2. About 1 inch apart. And number 1. I'm going to let these guys go now for 2 minutes. I'm going to rotate them. 2 more minutes. Then I'm going to flip them. 2 minutes. Rotate. 2 minutes. We'll see you inside. All right, we're back in from the grill. Steaks are looking gorgeous. What we want to do is weigh them one more time. So I got my scale. Let's get a 0 on it. There we go. Zeroed out. We're going to take steak number 1. This is the one that was in the refrigerator for 3 hours, or salted previous to the cook for 3 hours. We're down to 178. Interesting. Number 2. 178. Okay. Steak number 3. 180. So it looks like steak number 3, the steak we salted just right as we put it on the grill, has retained a full 2 grams of liquid in it. What we're going to do, we're going to let these guys sit for about 10 minutes. We're going to let them kind of rest, do their thing. I don't know if I can wait that long. I really want to try them, but we're going to let them rest, and then we're going to weigh them one more time. We're going to see what we get. All right, so the steaks have been resting 10 minutes exactly now. Let's get one more weight on them. I don't think they're going to change drastically, honestly, but let's just get the scale up here. You can see we're leveled out at 0, starting with steak number 1. 176. We do have a little puddle of juice here. Start with steak 2. See what we get. 76. Looking at consistency here. And our last steak, 178. So it lost a little weight as well. Okay. So looks like there's a difference between the 2 pre-salted steaks in 2 grams. The third steak maintaining the most weight. I'll tell you what. I happened to measure out the equivalent of 2 grams of water. Turns out that it's exactly 2 milliliters. So I'll show you in this bowl how much 2 milliliters is. That's 1 tablespoon equivalent in that bowl. So it looks like it's about maybe a 1/4 tablespoon, maybe a little less of water. It's not a lot there. So not so sure what that even means, but let's try these steaks. I'm just curious how they taste. So I'll show you. We'll go from 1 through 3. So here's steak number 1. Cut into him. Nice, perfect, rare. I'm a rare kind of guy. It's the way I like my steak. Take a little piece here. It's kind of dry on the outside. Still great tender steak though. Try number 2. Same exact steak, nice rare. Try this guy out. Still delicious. This one tastes a little more meaty and less salty than the first one. Let's go for number 3. Again, perfectly rare. This one has less meat flavor, definitely more salt flavor. But the outside texture where it was cooked isn't as textury, for lack of a better word. I don't want to say tough, by no means are any of these steaks tough, but it's easier to bite through, I guess, for lack of a better word. So anyway, here we are, steaks 1, 2, and 3. Honestly, if I had to give it to any of these steaks, I'd go with number 2. It had the best beef flavor, and it wasn't overly salty. But anyway, there you have it. There's the science behind when to season your meat and how you like it. I don't know if it proves anything or not, but glad you guys watched it. So you guys know the drill. Hit that sub button, give me a thumbs up, and stick around.